You've been told your whole life that you're too sensitive, that you feel things too deeply, that you cry too easily, and at some point, you probably started believing it. But what if that idea, the one you've carried for years, is completely wrong? What if the thing you've been trying to fix was never a flaw to begin with? Because here's what the science actually shows. That sensitivity you've been ashamed of, it's not weakness. It's a biological trait, one that only about 20% of people are wired with. And that crying, that's not you breaking down. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. So in this video, we're going to break down what's really happening inside your brain and body, why you feel everything so deeply, why you get overwhelmed faster, and why your ability to cry might actually be one of your greatest strengths. Stay with me, because once you understand this, you won't see yourself the same way again. Let's start here. Back in the 1990s, a psychologist named Elaine Aron identified something that had always existed but never had a name. She called it sensory processing sensitivity, or SPS. And people who have this trait, they're known as highly sensitive persons. Now here's where most people get it completely wrong. They hear sensitive and assume fragile, emotional, weak. That's not what this is. The real difference isn't in your personality, it's in your brain. Think about it like this. Most people are watching life on a normal screen. Clear enough, functional, nothing special. Now imagine upgrading to ultra-high definition, where every detail becomes visible. Texture, tone, subtle changes most people miss. That's what's happening in your brain. Research shows that highly sensitive people actually process information more deeply, picking up on details, emotions, and patterns others don't even notice. And here's the catch. When you notice more, you feel more. Your brain isn't filtering the world down, it's taking it in, almost all of it. Facial expressions, tone shifts, energy in a room, tiny changes in behavior, everything gets through. And your brain doesn't just notice it, it processes it deeply. That's why your reactions feel stronger, not because you're weak, because your system is working at a higher resolution. But here's where it gets interesting. That same depth, the thing that overwhelms you, is also your advantage. Highly sensitive brains show stronger activation in areas linked to awareness, empathy, and emotional processing. In simple terms, you don't just see what's happening, you understand it, you feel it, you connect it. And that's something most people can't do at the same level. But there's a cost, because when your brain processes everything deeply, it also gets overwhelmed faster. Too much noise, too many people, too much input, and suddenly it's not clarity anymore, it's overload. That's why you need more space, more quiet, more time to reset. Not because you're incapable, because your brain is doing more work than most. Now let's go deeper. There's a concept often used to explain this difference. Some people are like dandelions. They can grow anywhere. Harsh conditions, chaos, stress, they adapt and keep going. But highly sensitive people, they're more like orchids. Put them in the wrong environment and they struggle. But put them in the right one and they don't just survive, they thrive in ways others can't. And this isn't just a metaphor. Researchers describe this as environmental sensitivity, meaning people with this trait are more affected by both negative and positive environments. Which means, in the right conditions, you don't just do well, you do exceptionally well. Now, here's something even deeper. Your empathy. Your brain is wired to respond strongly to other people's emotions. Studies show that highly sensitive individuals have increased activity in brain regions linked to empathy and emotional awareness. So when someone around you is hurting, you don't just understand it logically, you feel it. Your body mirrors it, your chest tightens, your throat closes, and sometimes you cry. But let's pause here, because this is where most people misunderstand everything. Crying is not a failure of control. It's a biological process, a release. When you're stressed, Your body builds up tension mentally and physically. And crying? That's one of the ways your system resets. It slows you down, regulates your body, helps you process what you've been holding in. So the next time someone tells you don't cry, what they're really saying is don't release what your body is trying to process. And that's not strength, that's suppression. Now zoom out for a second, because this trait didn't appear randomly. It survived across thousands of years. Why? Because it served a purpose. In early human groups, not everyone could be impulsive and action-driven. Some people needed to pause, observe, detect subtle changes, to notice danger before it was obvious, to read the emotional state of the group, to think before acting. Researchers describe this as a pause-to-check strategy, a survival approach based on awareness and careful processing. And the people doing that, people like you. So let's bring this all together. If you feel deeply, if you get overwhelmed easily, if you cry more than others, that doesn't mean something was wrong with you. It means your brain processes the world differently, more deeply, more completely, more intensely. Your empathy isn't weakness, it's wiring. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's a trait. In your tears, they're not a sign that you're falling apart. They're a sign that your system is working exactly as it should. And maybe the problem was never that you feel too much. Maybe the problem is that the world never explained what that feeling actually means. Because once you understand it, you stop trying to fix yourself, and you start learning how to work with what you already are. If this changed the way you see yourself, don't stop here. There's a deeper layer to this, how highly sensitive people can actually regulate their emotions and build environments where they thrive instead of burn out. That's where everything starts to click. And trust me, that's the part most people never learn. You're not too sensitive. You're just wired differently. And once you understand that, everything changes.